Hey guys, Jonah here, back with a beer review, and this is a mini series, mini collection, if you like, part of the Vocation over Christmas, and we're probably double bagging some of these reviews, so you'll probably see these at the same time as some of the other ones, but that's cool. You get some extra content, which is pretty good, and I get to drink some extra beers too. Um, so this is the Vocation Special Edition, made in Manchester. This is the Grape, Raspberry, and Blackcurrant Sour, a 5% of the ABV. And this is part of, here we go, the Second Home series. And this one's all about Manchester. I have got 3 out of the 4 of these special editions. I thought I had quite enough for stout, so I didn't get the stout one, unfortunately. And I don't think I could get it either. The other 3 were available, but the stout wasn't, so I've got the other 3. So you're going to get a 3/4 of the Second Home series. And this one's about Manchester. It's the people and local communities that help make our bars what they are. And the Vocation Second Home series seeks to celebrate them by partnering with bar staff with our brewing team to create special one-off beers. Obviously, this one is the Manchester one. So this has tastes and smells of sticky berries and sweet. The Manchester team has a penchant for sour. And having grown up drinking a particularly sweet and tangy drink from the area, there was only one option for them: vibrant, sticky, refreshing, the perfect blend. And it says Maya Hindrachar, one of the artists behind each one of the bars. And Mia hails from Kenya but lives in Manchester. And basically, she did the artwork for this can, which I think is pretty good. Manchester has got a fantastic scene. I have been in the Manchester when it was just starting the craft brew scene, um, around the centre when they were regenerating and making lots of new buildings and generally tidying things up, which probably would have been probably 20, 25 years ago, perhaps. And it's got better and better since then. And believe it or not, Vocation have, and I think the reason for this special edition series is because they've got lots of bars around, and one of their bars is in Manchester. So that is, I guess, why this is there. Anyway, fantastic. Thank you very much. Look at the, see if it'll focus on the artwork instead of my face. Um, but it's got some cool things. There's the station, stone roses on there. Wonder if it's got the airport. Oh, there we go. There's definitely the cathedral and that kind of stuff, Manchester and all that kind of stuff. Oh, what's that say? Affleck's, all Manchester icons. So let's get this bad boy into a glass. We'll see what we get. I'm going to do a wee pressure test. I don't think sours generally don't have huge heads on them, but you never know these days. Things do go a bit crazy, and we're using, as opposed to the beers, the Christmas beers, the stouts, the crazy stouts, I'm going to use the big one, and basically I'm going to get this into the whole of the glass, and we'll see what we get. Oh, we're getting a little bit of the head. Boom. Because this is a 440, I need not worry about filling up this bad boy with a little bit more aggressive pour than perhaps I would do. So there we go, there's Vocation. Let's bring that can in. We do a cheeky grin, and we're on our way, as Karen Carpenter used to say. So well over a finger's head, not quite two, one and a half, let's say. And look at that colour. It is pink, a pink head. That's very strange. But considering the hue of the beer in general is red, or berry, should I say, I don't think it's that unusual that we've got a pink head. I'm just seeing if we can get some of the bubbles in focus. Doesn't look like we can. There we go. Lovely, fluffy kind of head. And look, tiny little bubbles. There's a slightly bigger bubble, but that is not what I would call a massive bubble by any means. So it's a good start. We've definitely got a sour kind of note, and quite a carbon dioxide kind of thing going on as well. So maybe they force carb this beer. Wouldn't surprise me if they have. And we are getting some berry, but it's not sweet. It's definitely sour. And weirdly, yeah, this said sweet, didn't it? A sweet and sour beer. Interesting. Um, Usually sour beers aren't sweet, but you never know. Wow, look at that head. That head is fast disappearing, dear viewer. So we better get into this beer review. But before we do that, please think about subscribing to the channel if this is your first time. Welcome. And definitely tap me up down below. Leave me some comments. I love comments, and it really does help me out as well. Right, let me turn that sideways on. So I'm not sure if we've got. Oh, actually, let me see. Have we got the prerequisite kind of ingredients in there? Is it going to focus? There we go. Yeah. So we have got wheat and oats in that bad boy, as well as the barley. So you never know. This head might hang around. Let's see. Oh, so wow, interesting. So as I was drinking, I was getting some sweetness. As soon as I swallowed, sour, and then I sort of went, whoa. Then a second round of sour came, and then it became kind of a bit of a creamy kind of thing. Um, like the kind of ice lolly type thing, but a little bit more creamy. Um, and it's still there. It's kind of red fruit, definitely. Um, but then the raspberry, I think it's got raspberry in it, if I remember. Let's have a look. See the bottom of there. I think, if I remember rightly, it's something raspberry and blackcurrant. So cherry, is that? No, grape. Grape, raspberry, and blackcurrant. Well, I would definitely say the sourness is coming from the raspberry, and that's not surprising because if you eat raspberries directly off the bush, and you should always have stuff fresh from the bush, um, you do get a bit of a sourness to it. Grape, maybe not so much. And the berry is probably coming from the blackcurrant, and I would say from the raspberry. So haven't discovered the grape yet. Oh, wow, it's quite carbonated. But the other fruity flavours are definitely in there. Yeah, I suppose you do get red grapes, don't you? I always find the green grapes are the ones that you can spot in things. But yeah, you do get red grapes too. So sweet, instantly into the sour, washes the palate. There's some more of the berry. Maybe it's not sourness, maybe it's a berry flavour coming through. So sweet first, instantly into sour, then into the berries, then you get this creaminess that follows. Mm. So yeah, I wonder if they're using some sort of milk sugars once again in a sour beer. Personally, um, I like sour beers to be sour, but this one definitely has some sort of sweetness, some Maybe it's added, but maybe it's from the juice. I don't know. I like more lambic kind of sour beers, as opposed to maybe trying to put fruit in there, maybe to sour it. It doesn't have the other things, like there's no kind of barnyardy types thing. So I really don't think that this has got any. Well, it might have some natural kind of bacteria in there. Um, yeah, it's not sour enough. Maybe it's kettle soured. Maybe that would be it. Um, where you do your boil and then you leave it overnight and you let things kind of you let certain bacteria kind of take over before you add the yeast to the beer, and that gives that kind of kettle sour thing. But it isn't that sour. But then maybe they balanced it out with putting some lactose in afterwards. Maybe. I'm guessing, dear viewer. Right, let's go for some more. It's more or less the same thing each time. And what's the ABV? Was it 5? I think it was 5. Yeah, there we go. 5% on the ABV. Out of focus as usual, but it definitely does say 5, um, which is not to be sniffed at all. Hmm. Now, the sweetness now, to my taste, is kind of connecting a little bit into, yeah, into the creaminess. So I wonder if the lacto is latching on to things like the oats and the wheat. And unfortunately, dear viewer, much to my yeah, my sadness, my lament, to the lack of head. Um, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's only a tiny little bit of oats and wheat added, just to give that little bit of creaminess, perhaps, as I suspect that the lactose, the milk sugars, can latch themselves onto. Weirdly, it also gives a bit of kind of body as well. So that would explain why it's quite opaque. You can't really see anything through there. You can see the reflections of things, but you definitely cannot see through that beer. Um, wow, pardon me. A lot more kind of carbon dioxide actually in the liquid itself. Um, but yeah, I mean, if this is your introduction to a sour beer, then yeah, maybe that's cool. But for someone that's had a few different sour beers, it doesn't quite pull it off, in my opinion. Not bad beer by any standards, but it's not one of the absolute classic sort of lambic sours or American style kettle soured beers that I've had in the past. It's just not kind of sour enough. So maybe they've gone for a bit of balance in the sweetness against the sourness. Who knows? Anyway, I will drink this and you guys can be on your way. But yeah, not a first foray into the second home series from Vocation. And if you can get these in your pub, if you're from Manchester area, Greater Manchester area, that sort of thing, I think they've got other stuff in Leeds and around there. Obviously, the brewery's in Hebden Bridge. They've got a lovely tap room up there. Not a bad beer by any standards, but not a great one. Not a fantastic one from Vocation. But if you can find it, or if you've tried this beer, let me know down below what you think. Dear viewer, please take care of yourselves, take care of your family, take care of other people, and we'll see you for another one of these series real soon. And don't forget, we're also doing the Decadent series from Vocation. There's a lot more Vocation beers to drink, and we'll see you for another beer review real soon.